Nerd morning, everyone. My name is Jeremy, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of Brandon Sanderson's newest book, Rhythm of War. And I devoured this massive, massive book, and I loved every moment of it. It was so much fun. I am a big Sanderson fan, so I wasn't like going into this expecting to have any other experience other than really enjoying it. And I felt like this was a really great addition to the Stormlight Archive, which is one of my absolute favorites. But there are, different things that were stronger or weaker about the book, of course. And we're going to go over a couple of thoughts that I have about this. So overall, my impressions, I had so many good moments with emotions in this book where I was like, oh no, don't do that thing, or like really touching moments where I was, just really impacted pretty heavily from that. And I love being able to have those type of experiences in these type of books. Now, this is a massive book, a really big undertaking, and so for people who enjoy like faster pacing in books, the pacing is a little bit slower because it has a lot of world building, a lot of characters that they're exploring, and there's just a ton of things going on. And I think it, for me, totally held my attention, really kept me going. But I can see how people who might want something that's a little bit faster paced might not like some of the explorations that they have. For me, some of my absolute favorite parts of this book was in the interludes, when I got to see some perspectives of individuals that I will probably never get in other parts of the series. And there was one where you actually get the perspective of Syl in an interlude, and that was so fascinating to me. But for some people, that pacing isn't quite their thing, and I don't know, for me, it totally landed. It totally was great. And I think that because some of my favorite series are the Wheel of Time, and they're 15 books long and they're really big epics, that this is just, for me, right up my alley. It was a perfect fit. The world building was absolutely fantastic as we go explore different places, different peoples, and also for people who are really into the Cosmere and exploring different aspects of the Cosmere. There are little tidbits, obviously, that has been pieced in throughout all of the books that connect different worlds and different ideas from different places, and that I felt was amplified here in this book in a way that, for me, as a big Sanderson fan of the whole Cosmere, was great. I think that it was really cool that we started off on the way that we started in this book. It was really strong. I thought we saw just some good places of where we had kind of grown and progressed from where we had left off at the end of Oathbringer. At the end of that, Yasna had become queen. They're in Yorthiru. Teravangian had betrayed everybody, but he was still part of the coalition of kings. And they're continuing on this fight. And all of those types of things are being wrapped up and pushing the story forward from here as where we had left off in Oathbringer. And I don't know, it was a really strong start, and I thought that the characters that we were focusing in on were really cool. Now, each of the different books inside of the Stormlight Archive has had some consistent characters. Like Kaladin and Shallan have always been key characters that have had a lot of focus on in the stories. Now, this one, we get a little bit less of Shallan, so if she's your favorite, she's totally there. She's still a main character, still a major focus, but I felt like there's a little bit less of her in place of some of these other characters that they had their focus. Just like in Oathbringer, we had a ton of an additional focus on Dalinar, and then the other characters they kind of had to be able to pull away or shift focus on. Now, that's not saying that Shallan didn't have a big part. She had some extremely huge growth and breakthroughs and story. There's tons of stuff with her, but I just felt like there was a little bit less than what we've had previously. Now, Kaladin, major focus, I think he's always probably going to be having a major focus. I would say that he's the main character throughout the whole series, and so that's, you know, obviously a big focus with him. But there are other characters that had some really big focuses on that I thought was really, really interesting, and that is with Navani as well as Venli. Now, Navani, she is the wife of Dalinar now, and she has been really growing and progressing as a character throughout the series so far, and this time she really gets some good spotlight time, and seeing her go through some of her struggles, see some of her internal thoughts and the things that she's been having to explore and deal with for herself was really, really cool. And to see how she's able to grow and progress in this story was awesome. Also, Venli. Venli was a character that we've had introduced and somewhat explored, and in this one she gets a lot more focus, and I thought that was so cool. Her sister is Eshonai, who was a big character in the first book as this opposing Parshendi warrior, and we got a little bit of her character and some of the stuff like that throughout some of the earlier stories, and Venli had slowly started to become a bigger and bigger character, and now she is a key character, and I thought what they did with her was fantastic. That was super, super cool. Sanderson obviously has some big plans for her moving forward, which is super cool. Now, they had a lot of other additional perspectives, and I thought these were really interesting. They maybe had like a chapter or two or different things like that, but some of the perspectives that I thought were particularly interesting and positive was we had some more Dalinar, but his story is a lot smaller in this book. His book was like last book. We had more with Yasna, but also her character has been a lot smaller. We had actual chapters with Wit/Hoid, and seeing the world from his perspective, like, really, really mind-blowing, super crazy, and awesome. And I don't know if I can say much more than that. I thought the ending was shocking and so good, and I was surprised. I don't know, you're going to love it. I think that's going to be something that you're going to just have so much thoughts and discussions about with people as they have finished reading it as well. I would say the overall theme of the book had a lot to do with mental health, and I just thought that was interesting that in this fantasy world where we're having knights and warriors and battles and this epic war stuff that's going on, that would be what I would say was the main conversation that I felt like it was returning to over and over again, was the conversations about mental health, which I thought was done really, really well. And I really appreciated the thoughts, the ideas, the character exploration and growth that they had in relationship to that. And that's something that we've seen really throughout the entire series. And I think that we're continued to see as characters grow and progress, that we'll have more concepts and ideas being explored with in the world of mental health and some of the ramifications that that has on different characters. I think this book was so good. It was such a worthwhile read. If you've liked the Stormlight Archive so far, I think that you're going to really enjoy this book. And I think it was so fun. So that's my thoughts on the Rhythm of War spoiler-free edition. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Also, you can support me on Patreon. Thank you guys again so much for watching the videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.